podcast. We want to talk about K1, who just dragged the governor of Ogun State, Governor DAPO ABIODUN, to court to get a restraining order. Thank you so much for joining. Now, we've heard about how K1 has been trying to, get selected or be considered for the revered throne of the Awujale of Ijebu land. That stool is one of prestige, of integrity, that the last occupants, that Ọba tó wàjà, kábíyèsí, kọ́lọ́hún fi ọ̀run kẹ́ wọn, wọ́n sọ pé ọba kú, wọ́n máa ní ọba wàjà ni. Ọba that just, transitioned was one Ọba that held the stool very well for many years, very respectable, very amiable, a leader through and through, And so when he passed away some months ago, of course, the vacancy exists. Now that it's time for selection, a lot of people are coming out to declare their interest, which is not anything bad. As long as you belong to the ruling house and it can be proven and you go through all the selection processes, of course, you'll be eligible to become the next Awujale. But when K1 indicated interest, people are like, okay, is he really suited for this role? Everybody knows K1 as somebody who is very, very ambitious. And yes, he's very ambitious and is a hard worker. He works his butt off, which has put him at the highest realm of success in his music entertainment. Now, kí ló mú kí K1 sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ gbé Governor Ogun State lọ sí court? What could have happened? What are they dragging? What caused it and everything? Now, for those of us who have been following the story, he applied the way everybody applied to the Ijebu ruling council. They got his application, but they struck it out, saying that, number one, the form he signed was pre-signed, and that there is no correlation between the family he's quoting to the ruling family. And from that point, some people who are, of course, K1 has a lot of fans. And one fans K1 yakpa to the point that they don't even want to hear you say anything that is not in favor of K1, But for people who are sensible enough to say, okay, let's look at the issues, what exactly is going on. On the other side, when people are seeing the CVs of other contestants, they're like, everybody has their own success in their own different rights. But one thing that is seeming not to be working in favor of K1 is his public image, which is heavily and highly dented. You don't need anybody to tell you. Just go to platforms where they are talking about, especially Awujale throne. Even some of his fans are saying, okay, let's see how it goes. But the truth of the matter is, for people of reasonable mind, what people are thinking of is, let the best man get into the throne. There should not be any kind of politicking. We've used politics to damage the fiber of our society. Politicians are 100% in charge of politics. And how we, the voters or citizens, decide to give them, the opportunity to govern us. But our royal institutions, especially in our Yoruba setting, our royal institutions, ó ti bàjẹ́, ó ti wọ́, where reportedly a lot of our kings are enthroned by the man no man, by being familiar with the powers that be in politics, and so being compensated for such roles, which is not supposed to be. In some of the cases, according to reports, people say, àwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n joyè gangan, àwọn tó kàn gangan, àwọn tí fá mú gangan, nígbà tí wọn ò lówó, nígbà tí wọn ń ṣe gbajúmọ̀, nígbà tí wọn kiss ass politicians that they are really considered. So it leaves such throne for the heavyweights, political gbogbogbò people to ascend the throne of Obaship. Now, the reports we heard today was when the Ogun State government cancelled the Awujale selection process. We're like, what exactly is going on? Why would the Ogun State government decide to cancel the Awujale selection process? I'm going to read their publications. Ogun State government has cancelled the ongoing selection process for the vacant stool of the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland. The vice chairman of the Fushi Egbuwa ruling house, Fasi Yusuf, confirmed the development in an interview with Punch newspaper on Wednesday. The Awujale stool became vacant following the pie of Oba Sikiru Adetono, who died in July at the age of 91 years after a 65-year reign. Kábíyèsí gbádùn. This last Kábíyèsí spent 65 years on the throne of his father, and he died at the age of 91. Oh Lord my God. Oh Lord my God. So he got to the throne, I think, at the age of 38 years or 37 years. Wow. Let's go on. In a letter dated December 2nd and signed by the secretary to the Jebulu Ode local government area, Oke Adebanjo, the Fuse Egbuwa ruling house was directed to produce the next Awujale. So, in their own midst, they said, okay, àwọn tó kàn láti joyè yìí ní Fuse Egbuwa ruling house. The ruling house was given 14 days to conclude the process and submit names of eligible candidates. Following this directive, the ruling house began the selection process, which reportedly attracted about 60 princes and fixed Monday, December 15th for the screening of aspirants. However, the exercise was suspended after the state government invited representatives of the Fuse Egbuwa ruling house and the Awujale Administration Committee to a meeting on Tuesday. It was learned that the meeting was convened to ensure compliance with existing chieftaincy laws. Speaking on the outcome of the meeting, which was presided over by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Ganiyu Hamzat, Yusuf said the government directed that the entire process should be restarted. But okay, we've given you, we all know that it's Fuse Egbuwa that's supposed to bring candidates. We've given you 14 days to go and do the qualification criteria for the contestants, and now we are calling you and telling you that you have to cancel the process. The Awujale process in Kotetisheni. He said the earlier process was cancelled due to procedural errors that could lead to litigation over the installation of a new Awujale. So we are now seeing the reason why the Ogun State government asked for the cancellation of the process. Wípé ẹ lọ wọ́gilé ń tẹ́tí ṣe. Nítorí pé àwọn rí pé errors wà ní procedures tí ẹ fi mú àwọn aspirants wá síwájú. And errors yìí can lead to court cases, oníjẹ́ litigation. Àwọn ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ nǹkan tó jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Awujale throne tí àwọn ń try láti ṣe. Yusuf ní local government commissioner for local government, whatever, in Ogun State, said the intervention was not unusual, noting that stakeholders agreed on the need to comply strictly with the 2021 Obas and Chiefs Law of Ogun State and the 1957 Chieftaincy Declaration governing the Awujale stool. The meeting with the government was to ensure that everything falls in place. The government wants us to strictly adhere to the provisions of the Obas and Chiefs Law regarding the installation of the Awujale. So very soon, we are going to receive another letter from the local government and begin the process afresh. The earlier letter, which gave the ruling house 14 days to submit candidates, has been withdrawn. So, pé gbogbo ohun tẹ́ ti kọ́kọ́ ṣe yẹn, ẹ lọ wọ́gilé. New process la máa ṣe ń sìn. The family will meet, review the situation, and take it from there. We have to follow the guidelines laid down by the government. The government initially issued a letter signaling the commencement of the process, but a procedural error was later discovered. So, kí ni procedural error tí wọ́n wá discover tó fi ní kán wọ́gilé process tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn? To avoid unnecessary litigation, we have agreed to start all over again. Làwọn náà bá ní, okay, we'll start. Ṣebí government, you asked us to go and start the process all over again. We are going to start, no problem. So, that is, I'm bringing to you the context of this new development. Let me see what we can read out again from this. After all, we have not submitted any list of candidates to the kingmakers, so there's really nothing to worry about. A senior state government official who attended the meeting but spoke on condition of anonymity also confirmed the suspension of the process. So bye, Emmaika Lord Sudip. I'm just trying to make sure that we understand the reason why. The reason they gave was that the Ogun State government said there are procedural errors. So we are striking out all the processes you guys have done. We want you to go and start afresh so that kò ní sí wàhálà court litigation. Àwọn ò fẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ court litigation ní ọ̀rọ̀ pé a fẹ́ fi èèyàn jọba ní orí tróònì Awujale of Ijebu land. Now, to properly commence the process, the ruling house must first formally notify the local government of its readiness. The local government will then write to the Ministry of Local. Anyway, I've just brought the real cocoa of the matter. Now, so you understand the context of why the Ogun State government decided to cancel gbogbo nǹkan tí kọ́kọ́ ṣe yìí. The procedural errors wà ó dẹ̀ lè lead sí litigation. Àwọn ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kéèyàn kọ́kọ́ máa wọ́ọ̀dì anybody lọ sí court o. Ká tó ṣẹ́jú pẹ́rẹ́, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal to respond. Èké tá wá ṣe gangan nìyẹn. Èké tá wá ṣe gangan nìyẹn. So kí ni K1 wá respond? Kí ni K1 rí lọ́bẹ̀ tó fi warú sọ́wọ́ tó fi sọ wípé àwọn dragi gómìnà Ogun State lọ sí ilé ẹjọ́? Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka article yẹn. K1 has dragged the governor of Ogun State, DAPO ABIODUN, before the Ogun State High Court sitting in Ijebu-Ode, seeking an order of interim injunction, restraining the governor and 5 others from taking any step on the selection and installation of the next Awujale of Ijebu land. He said he is a bona fide member. Brother Wasiu Ayinde Marshal said he is a bona fide member of both the Fushebuwa ruling house and the Fidipote ruling house, the very house whose turn it is to produce the next Awujale, according to traditional rotational custom. So see yín bẹ́ẹ̀ yàbí kí tún palẹ̀. King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal ti mú governor Ogun State, wọ́n ti drag wọn lọ sí High Court ní Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde. Wọ́n drag governor lọ sí High Court ní Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde wípé kí court fún governor ní order of interim injunction kó restrain wọn àwọn márùn kan tí wọ́n dárúkọ nínú article yìí from taking any step, pé kó má lè take any step lórí selection and installation of the next Awujale of Ijebu land. Ẹjọ́ ṣe lè máa possible? Ẹ̀yin ọlọ́gbọ́n ló lè yé, ẹ̀yin ọ̀mọ̀ràn ló ń gbọ́. Do you think, let's get realistic now, and I'm sure some of our audience will have knowledge of maybe traditional rulings in Ijebu land, and also maybe lawyers in the house who will be able to say, okay, this is how it is. Shema wípé ayé tá wà yín gbọ́dọ̀ wà deliberately stupid láyé tá wà. You have to seek for knowledge. Okay, what's the law saying? What is common sense saying? What is the cultural and the traditional setting of the Ijebu saying? Because nǹkan tí ó wà relevant sí Ijebu land yìí lọ́rọ̀ Awujale is different from the setting of the Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ̀yin náà rí gbogbo pọ̀pọ̀ ṣìṣìṣìṣì pọ̀pọ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tí bàbá wa Aláàfin tó wàjà kú kó tó mẹ́nu tó wà ń bẹ̀ ń sìn. Ìyẹn náà tún yàtọ̀ sí when we now move to the Ife, ti bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni of Ife. So each regional zone or state has their own structure and tradition of how the kings are sworn in. So nígbà tí Wasiu dẹ̀ ti wá fa wọ́n ti drag governor àti 5 others pé kí court sọ fún governor wípé wọn come and try, thank you so much for joining, thank you for the love, pé come and try láti ẹ̀ tí come and kí court gba gbogbo agbára lọ́wọ́ governor, come and select anybody fún kíní yẹn. Is this going to be possible? Now I'm going to go straight into the comment section where this article was shared, and I'm reading straight from the comment section. It's not my own opinion, but of course I will be enlightening as the need arises. The first commenter lórí post yìí sọ wípé, how can someone come from two royal families at the same time? It would have been better if his mother is from Ijebu. Okay. Somebody else said, I just wonder, what do his children tell him, or are they simply yesa type of children? Ẹ má yẹ ká máa mọ́rọ̀ àwọn ọmọ mọ́ nǹkan. Bàbá Wàsíù ló drag governor. Èmi kàn ń comment lórí nǹkan tí commenter yìí ń sọ lórí page tá a ti yọ article yìí ni pé, the commenter is saying that, what are his children saying? I know his children are not babies. Yes. At least he has successful children. Gbogbo wọn ló successful lágbára Ọlọ́run. But we know Dami, who is Yoju Babe, and who happens to be a lawyer, right? But most times when we are talking about things like this on this platform, we try not to bring children in. Let us face. But bringing somebody's children in, I think, is something that because ṣé ọmọ fẹ́ lu bàbá ẹ̀ ni. Okay, tí Dami bá sọ fún bàbá ẹ̀ pé dáàdi ẹ má ṣe tó bá àwọn bàbá kọ́ ló máa stop ni. So I try as much as possible when we are discussing things like this, let's leave our children out of it. Adults can face adults. Kájọ ṣèrò bàbá Wàsíù kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló tẹ́ fi ṣe báyìí, ẹ má ṣe báyìí ló ṣe yẹ kẹ́ ṣe, ẹ farabalẹ̀, let's face the ọ̀gá Wàsíù. But commenters bringing his children in is not something that I personally do like, but it's fine. It's the commenter's opinion. Now somebody responded to this commenter saying, do you mean his children should advise him against wanting or striving for more success? Is that what you mean? Another commenter to reply, commenting only, yes, especially when they know he's clearly a moral misfit. This position transcends their immediate family, which might have been excusable if it was about their family. This is about a people, my people. Somebody else said, morally unfit. What kind of morals are you talking about? Does Wasiu smoke? Does he steal? Does he kidnap? Does he buy? Does he do ritual or engage in human trafficking for a living? What morals are you referring to, please? Or is there a law that restricts a musician from contesting for a position? Or maybe the moral doesn't exist when he attend other chieftaincy. So now, in this comment section, this view I've read, there's a moral standing. When somebody is saying that, Baba Wasiu ni moral standing. Láti lè jẹ́ ọba yẹn. Thank you, Glory Child. Thank you for your comments. And somebody is saying, why doesn't he have a moral standing? Did he buy anybody? Did he kidnap anybody? What has he done that is morally wrong that he cannot contest for the throne? So ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa ka other comments lọ. Somebody else said, you still haven't mentioned the moral issue that makes you think he's unfit to occupy the seat. Is it marital issues or having public misunderstanding? If so, you need to read more about kings, not just in Yoruba land, but across Nigeria, unless his only sin is being famous for contesting for the throne. Okay? Ẹ jẹ́ ká move. Àwọn tó ti ń ṣẹ̀mọ̀ comment yẹn ti ń spiral lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká move to a fresh comment. Why is it that anywhere Wasiu gets to, he must cause problems? Olójú kòkòrò àgbàlagbà. Someone that cannot manage marriage for a year wants to rule elites. Aláṣejù. Èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Commenter kan ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí blog tá ti ń kà á. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún tẹ̀síwájú. Somebody else said, there were a lot of laughing under that comment. And another person said, yes, now, Darudapo ni, must everything be politicized? Someone that have no respect for anyone. Imagine a Yoruba that cannot prostrate to greet any Yoruba king. Instead, he shakes their hands when people like Baba Obasanjo does. Remember the way he was addressing President Tinubu when he called him on the demise of his mother? Wasiu wants to be Awujale just to intimidate people. Ijebu should not allow their traditions to be trampled upon by him. Let's see. To continue. Now by force ni, daddy, if you jobber, who go they sing for all those big men and women now? With laughing emoji. Another person said, I want to be back here. Can you like my comment? Okay. Another person said, I beg, who be Daddy K1 wig plug go? Somebody else said, what is he looking for? Because God has already blessed you beyond every success of life. Enjoy the wealth in peace now, Baba. Somebody else said, he's always throwing tantrums like a child. Ha! Èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kọ̀mẹ́ntà lórí blọ́ọ̀gì kan ni mo sọ wípé kí ni dé tí bàbá wa K1 ṣe máa ń like láti throw tantrums like a child. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sún síwájú. Next, Ajagungbale of Ijebuland. Another said, me, Asha, enjoy the nostalgic music. Another said, it's good to know when to stop now. This man, Sha, Emi Lokon. Another said, we can learn from Abiola's lives and mistakes. He had it all, but wanted power, and same power took his life. Few generations were destroyed because their lives depended on him. Kwamwon, lọ ní sùúrù, lọ gbéjẹ́ forí. Ẹni tún lọ kóòtì bàbá wa late MK Abiola wípé ṣé kò ń ṣerú mistake tó yẹ pé kọ́lọ́hún ti dáyàn lóhùn títí kó ṣiṣẹ́ kó rówó kó jọ, kó rówó ṣe nǹkan, kó rówó ṣayé, kó rówó jayé, kó rówó jókòó sáwùjọ àwọn lọ́balọ́ba. Kó wá wò wípé ok, mo ti lówó to the point of kèrèmí ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ power. Pé irú nǹkan tí ó ṣe bàbá wa MKO ń gbà yẹn nìyẹn tó fi jẹ́ wípé lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí bàbá MKO ṣe fẹ́ jẹ president ń gbà yẹn, ẹ wo iye ẹ̀mí tó lọ ní 1993 1994. Àwọn generation kan, for any one person tó páyé nígbà yẹn ní bóyá during riot ni o àbí táwọn ológun bẹ̀rẹ̀ tantrums ni o, ṣe mọ̀ pé generation ti lọ nìyẹn. Wọ́n ní kọ̀mẹ́ntà yìí kò tí wípé kí ló dé tí K1 ò ṣe fi ti MKO ṣe pé bàbá ẹgbẹ́ jẹ́ fórí kẹ́ ní sùúrù. Ṣe mọ̀ pé àwọn commenters kan wà wọ́n máa ń jókòó logically, wọ́n analyze nǹkan, wọ́n á fi nǹkan tó jọ wò pé ẹ jẹ́ ká wò báyìí. Àwọn tá máa ń like láti máa ka comment wọn nìyẹn. Ẹlòmíà drop comment báyìí wọ́n gan á jókòó pé ọpọlọ rèé. Ibi tó tiẹ̀ perspective tí wò tiẹ̀ expect. Some people will drop their own analytical comments and you can't but just ponder and say, oh wow, nǹkan tó jọ òun la fi ń wé òun, kọ́pọlọ gbogbo wa kó má dàrú. Ẹlòmíì sọ wípé see person wey God give second chance wey dey drag governor to court. Somebody else said, see who wan become king. Another said, irú kí leléyìí ọmọ anífowóṣe. Another said, until you turn into ọmọ àlè Ìjẹ̀bú sà. Another person said, bí Ṣìgìdì bá fẹ́ tẹ́ á ní kí wọ́n gbé òun lọ sí odò lọ́wẹ̀. Pride goes before a fall. Is this the personality of someone deserving of the most respected Awujale throne? Sorry for the noise. Ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ni yìí sọ pé bí Ṣìgìdì bá fẹ́ tẹ́ á ní kó gbé òun lọ sí odò láti lọ́wẹ̀. Pride goes before a fall. Is this the personality of someone deserving of the most respected Awujale throne? Okay. Another commenter sọ wípé make this man just sit down, You have acquired almost everything in this world. Relax and enjoy your life, jàre. Èwo ni àtojúbọ̀ ọba jíjẹ. 30% of your achievements make I have it. Wo bàbá mi, I no go stress myself. Ohun ayé ló ń gbé. Somebody else said, 1 million of K1 can't become Awujale. Ọmọdé ò mọ ẹ̀fọ́. Tọ́. Somebody else said, you carry a number one of a state go courts in his own state. This man don't smoke weed. Comment, àwa kọ́ la sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Commenter ló ṣe kí ni lọ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Somebody else said, Baba too greedy náà ni problem mi. Only you wants to be everything. Kẹ́pọ̀n dànù kárẹ̀. Mi ò understand the Yorùbá yẹn. Somebody else said, wetin this man wan use king do? He just wan use federal power. Somebody else said, he has forgotten that it is the government that gives final nod. Very desperate human being. Somebody else said, Baba can be king and still they do music show. Nothing concern K1. Another said, only God knows what is going on with him since his mother passed. A couple of months ago, he wanted to hijack a plane. Now he's trying to hijack the throne. And he took up a laughing emoji. K1. Somebody said, God has really blessed this man. What is he still looking for again? Well, that is life. Koto koto. Until we human beings live this life, nothing can satisfy us exactly. Somebody else said, when God wants to humble us, he first put us in this situation. Alasheju. Another said, he doesn't even know his father's name. Which one is Adewale and Adesanya? Somebody else said, ṣé kábíyèsí fẹ́ lọ máa fi orí adé kọrin ní Amẹ́ríkà ni àbí kí ni gbogbo pálapàla yìí? This matter go too long na Indian film. Somebody else said, this name self is too long. Kílódé, and which one is adult from oath? Tell your lawyer, sir. Ìtẹ́lọ́rùn jọba lórí ohun gbogbo. Ilé sọmí dùn joyè lọ. I'm sure you are not ready to quit Fuji music. Kí ló wá fẹ́? Ojú kòkòrò nípa ẹ o. Mi ò ka comments wọn. Comments yẹn pọ̀. So now let me summarize what we've been saying. Good evening, everyone. For those who are just joining, thank you so much for joining. We started this podcast by talking about the fact that Ogun State government has decided to cancel the Awujale selection process. Yeah. That whatever initial selection process they've done, that they've cancelled it because they've detected a procedural error that can lead to litigation, and they don't want that. So they asked them to go and restart, to go and refresh. Okay, so it was after this Ogun State government's pronunciation that K1 decided to take odidi gómìnà ìlú Ogun State, Governor DAPO ABIODUN, lọ sí court níjẹ̀bú Òde láti lọ sọ fún court pé kán fún governor àti 5 other people unnamed. They just wrote 5 other people, giving them a restraining order from the selection process. They commonly take any steps on the selection and installation of the next Awujale of Ijebu land. So this is going to be a tough one. Now let's be very realistic. Ọmọdé kọ́ làwọn tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ wà lórí platform yìí this minute are not ọmọ kékeré. Give me maybe in their 70s, in their 80s, in their 60s, in their 50s, in their 40s, in their 30s. Even those, our children in their 20s, no one ṣọmọdé mọ́. We know a lot of things happen in our governorship, in our traditional institution. One of the things that we are now realizing as a people is that there is nothing wrong in our traditional things. Ìwọ ló dìdí sọ wípé o ṣe tradition. I'm not talking about K1 here, I'm talking about individuals. Àwọn kan, they are proudly ìṣẹ̀ṣe, they are proudly traditional, and they carry on proudly. Some of us are Christians, we want to relate with Christianity. Some of us are Muslims, we want to relate with Islam. But some of us, even the fact that we are Christians or Muslims, we do not undermine the traditional institution. Because even in the good book, Bíbélì náà recognize the Bible as around King Solomon, King David. So it's an institution that God recognizes. And in life, ṣé tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ń ṣe tèmi, káwọn náà ṣe tiwọn ni. A sane person in 2025 cannot wake up today and say, oh, because I'm a Christian, anything about traditional kìnìkan is not good. Àfọmọdé tó má ṣe bí lánàá tí ò lọ́pọlọ. You cannot say because you are a Muslim, you are now waking up tomorrow and saying, anything is ṣẹṣẹ, they are all bad, or Christianity is bad. Àfẹn tí ò bá lọ́pọlọ. Kólúkálùkù ṣe títí ẹ̀. Ẹ fi nǹkan tó jẹ́ Késárì fún Késárì. Ó ní bó ṣe ń ṣe traditional institution wọn. And I think that process should be respected. Why is it that it's in Yoruba land? Lọ́rọ̀ wa máa ń súké, ló máa ń wu ike lórí. I don't want to compare us to some other region of our country, but you know what I'm talking about. Lè porúkọ àbí kẹ́ pé institution àwọn ará mi fẹ́ dárúkọ. But tí màá tí mò ń sọ. Látèkó, tẹ́ bá drive látèkó, àbẹ̀wò mọ́tò látèkó, pé ń lọ sí ìlú kan tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí. Àwọn ọba wọn bẹ̀ yẹn, mini god ni wọ́n. In fact, wọn ò bí ẹrẹ́, wọn ò bí ẹkú rí, kó dárúkọ institution wọn, àwọn ọba wọn sí nǹkan rádaràda. ò bá wà lórí ilẹ̀ kó wà nínú omi, àwọn aráàlú yìí wọ́n á wú ẹ jáde, wọ́n ẹ̀kọ́ tó ọ̀kọ́ ẹ láti ilé yín yẹn wọ́n á fi kọ́ ẹ. They don't joke with their traditional institutions. When have you seen them come out and be dragging their own kábíyèsí or their throne? You can't see them do it. Àtàwọn tó kàwé tó ní PhD nínú wọn, tó ní masters nínú wọn, àti tó wà labroad tó ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀, they do not joke with their traditional throne. Wọn fi ń báyàn ṣeré. Ìkan lára àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wa tó ṣe wọ́nranwọ̀nran gbà yẹn, tó lọ sílùú yẹn tó wá ń ṣe selfie pé kábí ọba ìlú wọn yẹn àwọn máa gbé súnmọ́ ọjọ́ yẹn ni kọ́ba yẹn mọ̀ kóhun ti dé. Ṣe nígbà tí àwọn aráàlú yẹn jáde fún lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn pé ṣó rò pé ìlú ẹ̀ ló wà, rò pé ìlú yín tẹ́ pẹ́ máa ń fa àwọn ọba àti institution yín ta yín ló rò pé wà ní, tán bá bí ẹ kú rí má kúrò nílùú ìkósùn ìlú ìmọ́jú. Àwọn tó já sí ti mọ̀ nǹkan tí mò ń sọ, ṣùgbọ́n I don't want to mention names. The Oba Council did not say anything. The Kábíyèsí did not say anything. Àwọn ọmọ ìlú yẹn ló jáde wípé if you are doing your nonsense where you guys are from, you better go back there. You are taking a video, you are coming for a party in our states, you are doing a video and saying that ó máa gbé súnmọ́ Kábíyèsí wọn ni, Kábíyèsí máa gbà máa fún ṣe lẹ́nu ẹni àbórí ẹ̀ láti bo irú cruise wèrè ṣe irú cruise tẹ́yìn máa ń ṣe irú cruise ìdọ̀tí yẹn pẹ̀lú àwọn Kábíyèsí, you don't bring it here. Wọ́n wá pe olówó obìnrin tó pè wá sí party, the wealthy woman that was doing the party that invited ọmọ títí wá kan, pé etí ẹ̀ mélòó tí ọmọ yẹn bá sun state lálẹ́ wàá rí nǹkan tójú ẹ̀ máa rí lọ́la. Bóyá wọ́n wọ ọdẹ kò ní o, bóyá bọ́lẹ̀ kájà ló wọ ọdẹ kò ní o, bóyá wọ́n ṣátà mọ́tò fún ni o. Good morning Lagos. Bàbá yẹn ti wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, kò dúró ṣe party tó wá ṣe níjọ́ Saturday. But when it comes to our own institution, until we rubbish it, until we drag them, until we sọ̀rọ̀ sí wọn, lára wọn máa tó balẹ̀. Nǹkan tó ní bá pe gbá ẹ̀ lára ayé máa bá pè é. Nǹkan táwọn aráàlú bẹ̀ yẹn tó ń pe ọba wọn làwa gan bá wọn pè é. But àwa tiwa, àfi ká máa da institution tiwa rú, ká máa politicize everything. Let politics be politics. Let traditional institutions be traditional institutions. Ayé ìgbà kan máa wà àwọn kábíyèsí gbà táwa wà kéré. Àwọn ọ̀tàn táwọn ìyá wa àti yáyá máa sọ fún wa, tá a sì rí fìrìfìrì ẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ní kékeré. Tó o bá ṣe ọba àbí tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ sọba àbí kó o ṣe wọ́nranwọ̀nran, instantly ni wàá jẹ gbani. Wọ́n wọ náà palace kan, wọ́n ṣe kinní kan fáwọn ọba ayé ìgbà kan, wọ́n wọnú palace kó fẹ́ lọ ṣe ọba léṣe àbí fẹ́ lọ jìlè. Wàá mú gbálẹ̀ wàá gbá gbogbo palace yẹn tí wàá gba neat. N tó ń jẹ́ṣẹ̀ ṣe nìyẹn. But ayé ìsìn àwọn ọba wa gan ò gbéra wọn dáadáa. Agbára ṣì wà bíi tàtijọ́. It's just the way that even a normal person who is not a pastor and an àlùfáà tó bá jọra ẹ lẹ̀ fọlọ́run, God can speak through you. Even ordinary àwa ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀, àwọn nǹkan míì máa wà tẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wá ní mi sí àwọn nǹkan kan wà dẹ́wọ̀ pé kíní tí mo feel yìí má jẹ́ kí n ṣe. It could be through dreams, it could be because you're gifted to see things. So how much more our traditional institution? Okay, now that K1 has decided to drag Governor DAPO ABIODUN, that the court should restrain him from any powers of selection of the Awujale process or whatever, is this going to work? Should we call this the fact that he knows his rights? Or should we say that he's just being arrogant? The answer to this is contextual. Bolukaluku bashiri ni kò ṣe answer question here. But as a Yoruba person, as a person that is not ọmọ kékeré, we should know that there are boundaries to everything. Remember, there's a man called Balogun Eko. I know a lot of us know him. He did a video some days ago. He did first when K1 did his application telling K1 pé K1 belongs to our family yẹn lọ wá bí jókòó sí. Then later on, he came out again, did another video telling K1 that K1 as in ó fún bàbá jẹ. Ẹ má tẹ̀jẹ̀ lọ sí gbogbo bẹ̀yẹn. Ẹ lọ wò Balógun Èkó. You can go and check him on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. His last 2 videos. Somebody, Tim Wally said, I don't want to mention the name. I've seen the name you put there with the laughing emoji. Yes, you are very, very correct now. On YouTube, you're very correct. To get any ọmọ wa ní ọ̀pọ̀ wa ní ẹni tẹ́ kọrúkọ ẹ̀ is our son. Tó lọ ṣe wọ́n ràn nílùú ìlú àwọn neighbor wa táwọn yẹn sọ fún pé níbo ló ti ń bọ̀ ó ní wọ́n ràn. Thank you. And somebody else said he doesn't have any rights. I think life should not be this hard, and especially when we get to our 60s. I think we've seen when you're already in your 60s, there's a way you will see things, and what you want most in your life is peace. Your 60s grow. Let's say even from your 30s, 40s, you don't want anything that will stress you. In fact, if you're arguing with somebody, you're not even arguing to win the argument. You're just arguing to give your own supplication. To buy argument, it's okay. What you have said is okay. Because you just want peace. Because no matter the millions in your account, you want peace. No matter the tiny money you have in your account, you want peace. You dread anything drama. You can't just drama by I don't have time. But some people are just very energetic on the other side. I don't want to use bad words. I'm very mindful of my words. Somebody, Madam Glory Charles, the person is in UK now. Yes, you are very correct. I didn't want to mention the name, but I know that you people, know the person. So I think that people who are close to, I know K1 has a lot of lovers. Oh my God, he does. If you are conversant on this platform, you know that K1 is somebody that I respect. And the reason I respect him is because of his work ethics. I'm telling you, K1 has wonderful work ethics. I'm not saying character is 100%, yo. As báwa náà ṣe pé character wise was kò sẹ́ni tó pé tán. But when you talk about work ethics, K1 has it. Oh my God. How he gets the energy. K1 might play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is not just one place. So he can be in Owo tomorrow. He'll be in Lagos Island the next day. He'll be in Oshogbo. How is this man doing it? And his work is not a work of Joko sorry table baba. No, he's standing all through. And his brain, all the medulla oblongata baba, is working at 101% as he's coordinating his songs, he's coordinating his boys, he's coordinating all the political something that is happening between family members. Tó lọ play fún bóyá tó lọ play fún níyàwó méjì mẹ́ta ni bó ṣe máa sa ilé tí ò ní ṣáájú kan lọ bó ṣe máa fi ilé sa ilé tí ò ní lọ́kọ. I respect intellectualism. When you're good in your work, you're good in your work, and that's it. So if there's something I really admire about him, is his work ethics. And I've always said it on this platform. K1 is one person that I hope he will be able to get to a position. He will get to a position where he'll be able to mentor all these our young men. Mo Mayegun results. Mo lele. Mo ni kini called Gary. Yes, K1 has Gary. He has a Gary company. He has I think he rears cow and malu lala. What else does he do? He sells wig. Yeah, there was a time he launched his wig some months ago. So he's very entrepreneurial. And that's if our young men these days can understand that, gbogbo ìtẹ́lọ́ ń bẹ́yàn lórí tẹ̀ ń ṣe nonsense káàkiri ẹ ṣiṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ ni oògùn ìṣẹ́. If you can do master class for our young men on how to be very professional in whatever field, I think he will make an impact on that line as well. Yes, he has made an impact in Fuji, but he needs to also help us train some of our young men to know that wo gbogbo ìtẹ́ nǹkan ń ṣe làwùlàwù káàkiri ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ tó wù yín kẹ́ ṣe kẹ́ mọṣẹ́ yẹn nínú lẹ́yìn ó wá dé. Yeah, somebody is saying K1 needs to hire a personal advisor, someone that's not his fan, someone that doesn't fear his affluence, someone that can talk to him without looking at his face. He has too much yo men around him. Fantastic comment. Thank you from YouTube. I agree 101%. And one thing a lot of people do is that because you like somebody, when you see the person doing something wrong, you say, feel left, kill on fix it. We worship people, we worship human beings even more than the God we claim to worship. The fact that you love somebody does not mean that when the person is going on the wrong direction, you won't correct the person. Oh, love any. Even your husband, your adeori, your sugar potato, the father of your children, the provider of your home, if he does something wrong, you call him and say, no, this is not the way to go. Say your own, even if the person doesn't listen. Say it. Anything about love, you man correct. Go and check comment section. Last week, TK wants to join Awujale Kini. Go on. And it shows that, like I said in one of the podcasts I did, I said, and I'm agreeing with this commenter as well, that said K1 needs a neutral person, a personal advisor. Tó máa lè sọ fún, ṣé mọ̀ pé bàbá lẹ́kẹ̀rẹ́ gbogbo àwọn obìnrin wọn bàbá ń fojú wọn bó ni àfi bú wọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní o. Ọmọ àwọn tó yẹn ń sọ gbogbo ìtàn sọ ìmú kan ṣẹ́nu kò nínú àwọn kọ́mẹ̀ntì kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn mi ìfọ̀mọ́ àwọn kọ́mẹ̀ntì kan ni. Kéèyàn kan ní a person that cannot maintain a wife in 2 years, a person that ṣe kíní kan. Èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ rorò jù kò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ tútù jù. Nǹkan tó ń ṣe, I've been praising him for his work ethics and everything. That's who he is. According to Balogun Eko claims, please go and watch his video on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. His name is Balogun Eko. Balogun Eko claims that incident, CK1 fẹ́ fọwọ́ mú plane ìdání when he was coming from Abuja to Lagos was because he went to Abuja and to tell our president, Baba wa Tinubu, wípé àwọn wà interested nínú Awujale, and Tinubu said no. Kò bóyá kò tí ì kàn ẹni àbí má try or something, but Baba was not on the same page with him. According to Balogun Eko, èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Pé ìbínú yẹn ni Baba K1 gbé dé Abuja airport. Tó fi ní bàbá ẹ gbé kọ́ọ̀pù ọwọ́ yín ilẹ̀, ẹ gbé water bottle ilẹ̀ lè gbomi yìí fly. Bàbá ṣe agídí borí bí fáànù ibi kan báyìí tá a gbọ́dọ̀ dárúkọ. Tó fi wíìsì bàbá bọ́lẹ̀ nínú plane pé bàbá ẹ bọ́lẹ̀ ẹ kúrò ní tarmac tí bàbá fẹ́ mú off. I don't even like remembering that incident because when I watched that video, I was genuinely scared for him. I had to hold my breath for a few seconds. Díẹ̀ ló kù kí kíní wing plane yẹn kó gé bàbá lórí bọ́lẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ló ní kó jẹ́ ọkùnrin tó lè gbé ara ẹ̀. Okay, bàbá smart. K1 is very smart. He can carry himself. He's agile. He just ducked it. Ọkọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ orí báyìí ni. Orí yóò bá ti lọ. Kí là ń bínú sí, kí là wá, kí là mú wáyé. Bàbá tó ń lo throne yẹn gan for 63 years, or how many years did I count now? Yeah, I think 65 years. Ni ọba wa Síkírù Adétọ̀nà lò. Bàbá lò dáadáa. Yes, it might not be perfect, but nobody can say he's a wicked king or bad king. He has good reputation. Wọ́n dẹ̀ lò tán fi gbó téèyàn fi pé 91 lórí oyè kó lo 65 years lórí oyè. Ọ̀gá nìyá múdà náà. Ọ̀gá nìyá múdà. So oyè téèyàn máa jẹ tí ò ní fọkànbalẹ̀, tí ò ní respect inú ẹ̀, I don't think one should do that. So for Baba K1, you've tried your best. You sued Governor DAPO ABIODUN. So we are going to wait. We are not impatient. But because we admire you on this platform, we will tell you that you're not giving your PR easy work on you. I know your PR, if you have one, will advise you. But bàbá, a ní irú yín ní bàbá àti uncle tó yẹ pé wọ́n ń gbọ́ wọ́n ń gbà àfi tán bá tẹ́. Àwọn ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ tẹ́ torí pé kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ fi ẹ̀tẹ́ yín ṣe. Kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ fi ẹ̀tẹ́ yín ṣe, kò dá nǹkan kan fún wa. But a ṣe advice yín bí àbúrò. Ẹ má fi tipá pàtìkùkù ṣe kinní yìí. Like somebody said, God has blessed you beyond, even you have said it in an interview before, that God has blessed you beyond your dreams. So nǹkan tí ò bá tọ́ sí yín, ẹ má fi tipátipá ṣe. Ṣé nǹkan tó bá pọ̀ tọ́ sí yín gan ni, àwọn èèyàn ló máa dìde gbùrùgbùrùgbùrù pé kíní kan ló kàn, kíní kan ló kàn. Àwọn mélòó ló dìde? Àwọn mélòó ló dìde? Ẹgbẹ́ jẹ́ fúrí bàbá. Ẹgbẹ́ jẹ́ fúrí. Maybe the court is going to grant his restraining order to the governor. We don't know. But if we get an update, of course, we are going to say it. And this particular article that I read out, I'm going to post it on our page. You can read it through and you can also Google it so that you can get more context for those who didn't join us at the beginning when I was reading it. So we wish K1 all the best. Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa kọ́ wa. Ọlọ́run máa kọ́ wa mọ̀ ṣe ṣùgbọ́n kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ gbà nù kẹ́ ṣubú. Kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ gbà nù kí ìlú Ìjẹ̀bú bàjẹ́. Kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ gbà nù ká da traditional institution wa rú. Ẹ jẹ́ kí politician ẹ face politics yín. Ẹ fi traditional stool lẹ̀ fáwọn tó ń ṣe é. Òun èèyàn kan sọ pé ẹ̀yin náà lẹ wà lẹ́nu RCW pé ẹ dàrú. Àwọn kan sọ pé ẹ̀yin lẹ ṣe kinní kan. Balógun Èkó náà lọ sọ. Ẹ dá ara àwọn kinní kan. Ẹ bá fàjà. Ẹ ṣe kinní kan. It is well with you, Baba K1. Thank you for dropping the comments. Thank you on both Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your comments. I agree very well with the final commenter who said he needs to hire a personal advisor that is not his fan, that can tell him how it is without fear. I totally agree. He needs to get that ASAP. Because this particular incident, tell us who governor of his state. I think that's quite too much, in my own opinion. I don't know what other people's opinion are. But please don't, like you see all our commenters, nobody is abusing anybody here. Nobody is dragging anybody here. We just say it the way it is, and we listen to comments that will get us even thinking about perspective. And I think that's how it should be. We'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely, lovely night. Good night.